Chris is the owner and founder of the Tennessee Wraith Chasers, founded them in 2009, and Ghost Asylum follows them and their, I guess, attempt to. You guys want to capture spirits, right, Chris? This isn't something where you're just going in and saying, "Ooh, I felt the chill." You guys are actively trying to catch ghosts, are you not?
Hey, man, we're from Tennessee. We got to do it right.
Well, your trailer alone shows one of your guys hopping into basically the morgue. You actually seek out these ghosts that most people wouldn't go after. How do you find out, like, and target the right type of supernaturals to go after?
Well, it's a combination. We do a little research. The production company now, we've got that on our hands. We've got the production company. They go out here and they find out these creepy places, and we look for murder, mayhem. We look for suffering. I mean, it's not something that we enjoy as far as, reading or listening to, but, I mean, it is something that causes a lot of paranormal activity. So obviously that's where we're going to go, the places that have the most messed up things that have happened. And when we find out these stories, we do the research, we do the history, and then we go to those places, see what kind of activity we can drum up, and see if we can capture anything.
What is what is the primary motivation, Chris, into getting into this line of work? I'll be very honest. I don't like going down into my basement after about 6:30 at night. It's disturbing to me, especially if there's a spider cricket or two. I have to imagine that most people don't want to go where you're going. Like, what was your impetus to kind of voyage into this world?
Well, it's a funny story. Back in my early 20s, I never really thought about it either. Anytime anybody would mention it, I'd be like, that's stupid. I never really thought about it before other than, horror movies. But I had a paranormal experience in my grandfather's barn in my early 20s. I was just up there rooting around for some tires. I was looking for some tires. We had some snow falling in Tennessee, and that's a very rare thing. So I wanted to put these aggressive tires on my truck and go out and play in the snow. Well, anyway, I was up there looking for those tires, and I saw something I couldn't explain. I saw a black shadow figure. It darted faster than I'd ever seen anything move in my life. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And after I jumped out of that barn, went home and changed my diapers, I decided that I was going to go out here and seek these things out and try to figure out, what was that I saw. Because until you have an experience yourself, you really don't think much of it. But when you do, it will impact you in a way that it's either going to scare the hell out of you or it's going to make you curious.
See, I had an experience myself, and I tried to share it with these two idiots I do a show with, and they made fun of me for probably a year straight. But I agree with you. I heard voices in my lake house, and then I found out that a kid had drowned weeks before, and I'm positive that's what I experienced, and I was mocked by both of the guys on this show. How did you go, Chris, from being a dude that had an experience that everyone's going to say you're full of crap to saying, "Hey, I'm going out. I'm not only finding ghosts. I'm going to go out and catch ghosts." What was the one thing where you said, "Okay, I'm not a guy that experienced this now. Now I'm a guy that's going to take control"?
Well, it was a slow process. I came out of the closet very slowly with my friends, because I like to sit around and play. I like to watch football. I like to do things normal guys do. But when you tell your buddies, hey, I saw a ghost, they're going to do the exact same thing if they're your buddies. So they're going to worry about you. But, it was one of those things where the passion just kept, getting larger and larger. Every time I would go out, I would find out some new things and capture new evidence. I'd go out. I started out with a flashlight, a digital recorder, and a cemetery. I mean, basically just me and a cemetery, and that was it. And I started catching EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, on this recorder. And it started freaking me out. I was like, I want to go out here and try to find other people that do this. So I did. I found a group of guys that are just like me, good old country boys, that have had experiences. Some of them haven't. My brother Brandon's one of them. He hasn't actually ever had a really profound paranormal experience, but he wants one. He's curious about it. But so we just decided, hey, we're going to go and try to do something different. You've got all these paranormal teams out here, and they try to capture evidence, and that's what we try to do. But we're going to take it and step it up to the next level, because I've always said this. I mean, if you only do what people have done before you, you're only going to be as good as those people. So, we want to be better. We want to try to invent new ways of capturing them and maybe seeing if we can help them out in some kind of way.
Again, Ghost Asylum premieres Sunday, September 7th, 10 p.m., Destination America. Chris, talk to us about how you're trying to capture them. I see that the next adventure takes you to the Old War Memorial Hospital in Scottsville, Kentucky. A lot of people, as you mentioned, have done shows like this, but it seems like you guys have this different twist, and one of the big things is that you're trying to catch these spirits.
Right, exactly. And we have a very unique team. Everybody on this team is got a unique skill set. Everybody comes from a different background. And, you know, we have some people like my brother who's more analytical. He's very scientific. He doesn't necessarily buy into all this ghost stuff, which is really good to have on the team because
Absolutely.
It gives us that grounded area of the team. We've got people like my co-founder, Doogie. He's very much a believer. You know, he's had a lot of experiences, and he's very passionate about the paranormal. You know, I'm kind of somewhere in between. I know that they're out there, but I'm very skeptical. We've got people who have been into real estate and know where to look for things like history. You know, Porter, he's our researcher. He goes out there and pounds the pavement, tries to find everything he can about the location, the history of the location. So, you know, we have all these things. Casey Ray, he's our engineer. He's very good with carpentry and building things. But the thing that kind of sets us apart is, you know, we don't have like a front man. We're just kind of a team, and we kind of put all our minds together, and we try to, you know, take that to one absolution, which is to try and, you know, eventually capture the energy or, you know, set energy of these spirits. I mean, that's what we're out to do. And, you know, we've actually, I think people are going to definitely want to tune in because we've got some very astonishing results from this.
So you don't, you say you don't have a front man, so you don't have a douchebag in Jinko jeans and Tom Hardy shirts with big spiked hair. I don't know if you've ever seen, look, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Ghost Adventures, but there's a gentleman on that show named Zach Baggins, and he makes me want to put a belt around my neck and hang myself, and then hopefully I'll turn into one of these ghosts that you can hunt down. I mean, you've clearly seen there's a lot of these other ghost shows that aren't necessarily legit, and it's nice to see you guys kind of have a different take on it, so it's just not more of the same. Any chance I can get you to trash talk Zach Baggins on this show, because the guy just drives me insane?
Well, I mean, I have no comment. I mean, they do their thing.
He's a professional.
They do their thing, and we do ours. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll put on a tight shirt every now and then and get a little gel in my hair. But, you know, that's their thing. I mean, they've caught some pretty cool evidence, and, you know, so have we. But that is one thing that's really cool about us. You know, we're from Tennessee. We've been raised in that good old-fashioned, you know, good old boy sense of mind. So, you know, everybody kind of puts in their part, and, you know, we all come to a good resolution at the end.
Is there ever a conflict? You talk about the South, you know, and just the general overall religious, you know, the Bible Belt. I know that you guys have a strong belief. Is there ever a conflict when you're getting out there that you know what you're looking for is kind of the opposite of what you believe in?
Oh man, you know, I've thought about that many times, and we run into that a lot. You know, I was raised missionary Baptist. My grandfather was a preacher. You know, my dad's a deacon. I'm very deeply rooted in my faith, and, you know, I still stand strong to that. And, you know, I've experienced a lot of things that I can't explain. That doesn't mean that it changes my belief system. For instance, there's something in the field that we call residual hauntings. I believe that probably over 50% of the things that we run into are residual. You know, things that it's just like on a loop. It's like a record player. Whenever we die, we're made up of energy. And, you know, it's a scientific fact that energy never dies. It just changes forms. So when you die, maybe your soul goes to heaven or hell, and you leave back these traces of energy, and they're able to be picked up by these instruments that we have. There's tons of other theories that I have. You know, maybe possibly it's a demonic force. You know, maybe it's Satan. You know, in the Bible it says that he's reigning here on earth and he can send his minions or whatever to mess with our minds. I think that's a possibility. But yeah, man, it's definitely a factor. I mean, it pushes the envelope in your belief system. Absolutely.
All right, hack radio question. Scariest experience you've had doing this gig?
I've never heard that question.
No, I'm sure it's never come up once.
Doing this particular show or period?
Not just, you know, chasing around spook specters and ghosts.
You got a whole season.
I'm going to tell you. I'll definitely want to tell you some experiences that we had on the show, but I want to tell you a really creepy story if I got a moment.
Sure.
The creepiest thing that ever happened to me, and every time I tell this story, people, they freak out and they give me this look. We investigated this old pre-Civil War log cabin one time. This has probably been about 2 years ago in my hometown, out in the country. And supposedly a Civil War soldier, it was a Confederate soldier, went rogue and ended up in this house, and the Union found him, executed him in the top floor. Well, this guy started remodeling it, and he called us because he was having some experiences. He had footsteps, and a lot of weird things happened. We went up there, and we investigated it. We left, and I drove a Ford Explorer at that time, and on the back of that Explorer, I had all of our information, our website, our phone number, all that stuff. And I would drive back and forth on the interstate every day, back and forth to work. And ever since we left that investigation, I just felt like there was something in my back seat. I don't know what it was, but I was just almost afraid to look in the rearview mirror. I just felt the presence there.
Wow.
Something I just can't explain and never will be able to explain it. Well, about a month went by, and we get an email from this lady that, she had claimed she was a psychic. And she was like, hey, I'm a psychic, and I saw your car on the interstate, and I checked out your website. She said, I wanted to let you know, though, be careful. There's something in your back seat.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Did you chop the car up with an axe? What did you do?
I put it on Craigslist. But it out of here, so.
You sold someone a demonic Bronco? What's wrong with you?
I know, right? That was crazy. I got to admit, that right there really freaked me out. It took me a while, because I read that while I was at work.
You swear that's a true story? You swear that happened?
I swear to Jesus, that happened.
Wow.
That's a horrifying thing. It wasn't some pale white Japanese chick with long stringy black hair, was it? I couldn't take that.
Oh, brother, I wouldn't be here anymore. I'd be off the side of the road. But I would have done the same thing if a wasp or something would have been in the back seat buzzing around.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can find like a nest of yellow jackets or something. Yeah, I got to give this to some rube like Oscar buying it on Craigslist with a butcher knife under his chair.
Right.
You can follow Chris on Twitter at ChrisTWC, and then it's TN Wraith Chasers on Twitter as well. And Ghost Asylum premieres this Sunday at September 7th. I'm going to watch it. This sounds cool, even though you wouldn't run down Zach Baggins. You seem like a nice dude, Chris. If you ever get up to the D.C. area, feel free to come by and hang out with us on the show, dude.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. All right, we'll follow up. We'll watch a couple episodes and follow up. All right,
Thanks,
bud?
man.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
All right,
man.
take care.
Take it easy.
Bye.
It's Chris Smith. That's pretty cool.